Hey, Kendall, this is the first time we're using this system. Just give us some kind of chat or thumbs up and confirm that you can hear and see us. She's there. She is here. See chat. Poor quality. Okay. Do we want to try to chat with IT just to see if there's anything to do about the audio quality? Kendall said that she can hear when it's poor quality.
Ooh. Yeah, she said it would be echoey, but the volume you can control there.
Okay.
Yeah, the audio.
Should I?
Yeah, maybe either try lowering or raising it. See if I can.
Kendall, we're gonna try a few things. If at one point it sounds good, please give us a thumbs up. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking. I've reduced the in-room volume, which hopefully reduces the echo. Thank you, Kendall. Appreciate you. You're the only person on the Zoom, so that's why we're asking you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Anything better or kind of still the same? Checking for our IT folks just to make sure. Okay, it's really choppy. Okay, got it. Yeah, Ben, if you want to maybe Teams, because I don't think it has to do with the in-room. I think maybe.
Okay, send it over.
Well, thank you. Maybe we just haven't activated one of the mics or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can turn down the room volume, which will help with that. So that's probably as low as I can get that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just
Do we know where the microphones are?
All around us.
Those
Yeah.
are mics. I want to say they're directional. I think.
Is it for the green light?
Yeah, I believe so.
Directions.
Yeah, speak loudly and try to reduce cross-talking, which is good direction for me personally to do. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, it's a brand new room, so we're all kind of learning our way around it. Hey, how are you? Okay, got it. Actually, can I maybe have folks who were sitting closer to the microphone speak so I can see if that's any better?
testing 1, 2, 3, testing, talking. Any better? Any better? Better now.
Kendall says it sounds pretty good.
Okay.
So maybe it has to do with the proximity to the microphones. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move over here to be
I'll talk like this.
yeah. Speaking to the heavens. Yeah, it's brand new. This is our first meeting in here. So I'll go over here because you guys are closer to that one. And then we'll just have any public comments also be on this side too. Okay, cool. New room. Yep, exactly. So I'm straight into the mic now. Okay, great. Kendall, thank you for your help. We appreciate you as always. And asking you for a new job today. Cool. Okay, Chair, would you like to get started?
Okay, I'd like to call to order the Sustainability Commission September 16, 2025 to order. Will someone from staff take the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Alexander.
Present.
Barrett.
Present.
Boyd. Not with us today. Cone.
Here.
Zirka.
Here. Present.
Frick won't be with us either. Walker.
Present.
And then our vice chair, our acting chair, Rock.
Present. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Welcome back from our little summer hiatus. And just move quickly into the acceptance of the agenda. Is there any questions or comments? You know, there's a couple errors we'll catch and move forward with those, but I think they're manageable.
I was telling the acting chair it's my Easter eggs for everyone. Find the mistake and then you get a prize. So if you find it, you can tell me and then I will give you a prize that I haven't thought of yet.
That's the Easter egg.
Exactly. The Easter egg is back to the prize, yes.
You have to find it.
Right, exactly, yep.
Okay, so moving on to public comments, this is a time for members of the public to address the commission on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. The commission does value your comments, but cannot take action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are allocated, allowed for each speaker. Do we have any members of the public?
We don't have any comment today.
So no comments. So acting chair and comments. I don't have comments, just starting up the new season. I think we should move into officer elections. Do you want to?
Sure, I can administer. I will do my best. And so our parliamentarians in the room, feel free to correct me if I make any mistakes. So as we traditionally do this time of year, and also because we've had some vacancies, or our chair decided to step down and conclude his term as part of our commission, we need to elect officers. And so we need to elect a chair and a vice chair. As has been the custom of this commission, we generally ask that if you are interested in one of those roles, or that commissioners put forward nominations. There's nothing that says you can't nominate yourself, but customarily, other folks generally will put forward a commissioner who they think would be a good fit for that role. It would be great if you had talked to that person before you do that. But I don't make the rules, so do what you want to do. So does anyone have any questions about the mechanics of how we'll handle this? And generally speaking, we haven't had a contested one in a minute. If we do this evening, we'll do a show of hands. But if it's running unopposed, we'll probably do it by voice vote. Is that okay? Parliamentarians? Okay, great. Thank you, yes. Okay. Does any commissioner have any nominations for chair?
Can I suggest one and then see if anybody else would agree? Right. So Commissioner Bernard Rubner was the vice chair. I'm naturally nominate him to be the chair, and I would agree.
Second. Do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Begrudgingly.
I put you on the spot. I did not talk to him, so
Y'all can take
So
that.
there's
Y'all can
that.
take that in whatever way you choose. Okay. So the nomination was made by Commissioner Dyrda and seconded by Commissioner Cohen to nominate Acting Chair Rotner. Acting Chair Rotner has accepted the nomination. Are any other nominations? Would anyone else like to bring another nomination to the floor? Okay. So since we just have one candidate, we'll do this by a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? And is anyone abstaining from the vote? Okay, congratulations, Chair Rotner. Now official. You can hit the thingy if you want. Okay, great. And now we will then need to fill obviously a new vice chair. Does anyone have any nominations for the role of vice chair?
why do I feel something on my chest? Are you interested? Well, it's a regard to but go ahead and. Can I just,
Sure. Yeah, anyone is welcome to nominate.
would you like to be a vice chair? Can I nominate you? You can nominate. I will
Okay.
nominate Commissioner Ken Alexander to be a vice chair.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Great, thank you. So nomination by Commissioner Dyrda, second by Commissioner Barrett. Do you accept the nomination, Commissioner Angel? Okay, thank you very much. Any other nominations for the floor? Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, congratulations, Vice Chair Alexander. Great, thank you both.
In a two-way.
Yeah. We're on opposite ends of the alphabet, which is really fun for making the little chart. So cool. Great. Okay. Elections concluded.
Yeah, so, can I ask, is there a way to turn the air conditioning? Is it
That's a really good question.
turning down or?
You want to try? Okay.
I'm
Like make it
I'm
warmer
maybe
or
having a
colder?
menopause.
Make it colder? Yeah.
I'm usually freezing, so I don't know.
I will defer to to our intrepid.
Okay.
Is that
Is that from all the pressure to be a chair?
Yeah. So I guess I'm in the hot seat.
With that 16.
It's
Ah.
even up there.
Oh, that's what it is. It's humid.
Yes.
All right, thank you for that. There are a couple other things as we go through the subcommittees. Where we'll need some help in people stepping up. So we can go through the subcommittee reports and kind of discuss those as we move through them. So the standing subcommittee on waste reduction, we did have a meeting on the was that the ninth? Feels like a long time ago.
Does.
And kind of kicked off with again being off all summer. And so a couple things. I don't know if staff wants to comment on the. They had a great Fix It Fair, which sounded really amazing. So I don't know if Anita wants to tap into that a little bit.
For our Fix It Fair, we attempted 48 items. 35 items were repaired, 11 non-repairable, 2 needed parts. And I have met with them for the Fix It Fair already, so we will be doing
Okay.
Okay. We will be doing a couple more. I've already met with them, and yeah, we're just really excited. I have this here, so I can pass it around. Everyone, take a look at this.
Yeah, one of the things for people that are not in the room is Anita, you had a 513 pounds
Yes.
of material that were diverted from landfill. So that's from a small event. And I hope that that can grow because it's kind of a great number of, fixing something that can be reused, doesn't need to be thrown away into landfill. So
Right.
I just think it's a great event. And hopefully we can get more people going. So I just think it's a great thing. Kudos to him to push it through August.
Right. Yeah, no, he did a great job. It was really impressive turnout even for an August event. I think one thing that will help us fix even more stuff next time is working with the nonprofit reuse to find more fixers. So I think the more people we have helping to volunteer, and we were fixing, I was running the check-in desk. It was really good though. I kept those people in line. But we had people doing everything from sewing to changing wiring to ceramics, like, helping to glue things back together, like, wood glue, like, so any repair that you can do, and I say this, the royal you, is probably something that we can find that someone will bring to have fixed. So it's not just electronics, it's not just mechanical stuff, it's repair in a pretty broad sense. So if we can get more fixing volunteers, then we'll be able to serve even more people, which is great.
Special thanks to PSTS who were on hand, as well as Ace Hardware and all the other staff members and volunteers. Because it sounds like there's quite a few people helping out. So hopefully we can make it an ongoing event. This saves people money and also helps the environment. So let's see. Third, couple other things that I think we'll post this report was not included in our packet, but there's some smaller things you can update. Just with PSDS, they're continuing with their ambassador work to get HOAs and commercial businesses to comply. One of the interesting topics was PSDS has purchased various EV vehicles. They're smaller, that are working throughout the city, collecting and then transferring it to their transfer station. They're still working on finding bigger loaders that are EV, and they're tracking the
emissions.
emissions.
Yes.
So
And the cost saving.
and the cost savings of that. So kudos to them for doing that as well. And finally, my little pet project is working on an alternative recycling, looking to maybe do a shoe collection, shoe drive, in conjunction with a shredding event, maybe in the spring during Earth Month. So that's in progress. So more on that, but just hopefully be able to share shoes that we used again, but also recycle shoes that are not good use and can be recycled into other shoes. There's a couple organizations that I researched. So other than that, it's the report.
We'll send that around and make sure it's posted.
It's just one question I didn't pick up when we heard that. Where was the, fix it, where was it?
It was at the Mizell Center, so they, Mizell Center, the senior center. Mizell.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they co-hosted it with us. So we've got a pretty good partnership with Mizell. We've done the induction events with them, and now we've done the Fix It Fair. It's a great space. You know, people feel comfortable in it. It's a great usable room. So we'll be doing these at some different areas throughout the city too. But we've really enjoyed working with the Mizell Center in addition to our local, like our, James O. Justice Center and the Booth. Library is under renovation right now, so Mizell's a really nice central location for some.
Yeah, Duluth has a nice space.
They do, yeah, it's beautiful. So I think for some of our south end of town things, we'll be working that one too.
It
Yeah,
sounds
that's-
like the interlibrary has stakes.
That's true, yeah, and that's really south end of town. So we'll get a whole new audience down there. Very good.
That's something that I could point out is mixing it up to hit different parts. You can hit the north side one time and the south side. Yeah, to give people opportunities to be closer to their.
Absolutely. It also helps to work with places that have kind of a built-in customer base, quote unquote. So folks who are regularly visiting these spaces, that's just another way for us to spread the word about the event and work with the teams to get support more engagement.
Yeah, James O. Jesse up north. Be good.
Right. Yeah, that would be great. So yeah, Ben keeps scheming. Ben just had to jump out to solve the EV charger problem. Yes, go ahead.
At the Fix It Fair, do we have anybody particularly working on the computers or helping the seniors to kind of clean up their computers?
So we didn't have anyone doing kind of what you do, Ken. Commissioner Alexander, sorry.
I'm on the spot again.
Yeah. This is talent. So we had some folks bringing in just like hardware stuff, like if there was an issue with a charger or a battery wasn't working, but there wasn't anyone working on anything that would be either interface related or software related. But a good suggestion for a future event.
Yeah, because I have seen seniors where their computer is not moving, working, because there are so much stuff loaded in there and they're not cleaning it up.
Trust me, I kind of seen it.
Yeah, sure.
So kind of giving Ken a plug. You work with, is it with Mizell that you do that? So Ken works with Mizell to help people with their computers. So
Okay.
if there's something, you know,
And James O. Jesse. Both places.
covering.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to know. I may call you sometime. Okay, any more questions on that?
But really quick to interject, sorry, cut the last bit. We are working with, the repeat people. I do have a couple people who are gonna be interested in fixing some technology stuff. Someone even, offered parts, but I said no, 'cause I'm not having anybody else that can get the part fixed. So we added a couple more things. Once we set the dates and if they're available, we'll be adding the extras on there.
Thanks.
So how many times a year will do we?
It'll be 3 times a year. My goal is 3 times a year. Either the week, I'm trying to have it the week before our shredding bulky item e-waste. So if people can't get their items fixed out just the following weekend, they can dispose of it properly. Or PSDS will take it with them on the spot.
Smart idea.
That way we can just take care of it ourselves and it's not, they don't just go throw it away random. So PSDS is offered for the ones when we don't have or they can't come back to the next event. They'll take it with them that day.
Anything else? Not good. Okay. Great. So then next, standing subcommittee on climate action, and we have not met. This is one where Chair Clark was leading. This is an area where it would be just Commissioner Cohen and myself on that mission. So looking for other interested parties and also someone who would want to chair that committee. So I don't know that it's something we need to think about now. I know there are two other commissioners that aren't here, but maybe reach out to them as well if no one's interested or available.
I'd be interested in joining the subcommittee, the climate. Okay. I'm not sure about chairing, but
Yeah.
I'm interested in.
Well, we can have up to 4
Maybe let's see.
members of the subcommittee, so if we can find one other person who would like to chair it, that's great. So maybe that's something folks, so if you're interested in joining, we'll make a note of that, we'll add you as part of that
So
group,
who's in that right now?
Chair Rotner and Commissioner Cox.
So,
Yeah.
just a few right now?
Yeah. Chair Clark was,
It was,
and we can, to get a meeting started, so you can see what's going on, maybe we have a meeting that we share that role.
Sure.
And
and then I
put you
can
second,
yeah, sorry.
I mean, or inaugurate.
Yes, very good. That would have good
Thanks for doing
challenges
that.
with when you're available.
Little, I mean, I can fit things in.
Midday.
It's usually.
Maybe we can talk about that right
Yeah.
after the meeting
Yep.
and see what everybody's calendars look like. And I'm fairly flexible, so.
So. that sounds good.
Max.
Yeah, I'm starting a new job on Monday, so I don't know my schedule.
Gotcha.
So
Find out.
we'll find out.
Okay, so the next is ad hoc subcommittee on bird strikes. Commissioner Frick was leading that. I don't know who's on that commission.
Yeah, and, Commissioner Barry and I have given Commissioner Frick
Mhm.
all the information. I'm not exactly sure where he's at.
Does,
I haven't seen it.
does that maybe make sense for, us to convene that group with staff just to do a check-in on how you'd like to go forward? Because ad hoc subcommittees don't have to last forever, like they can reach a pausing point if you've kind of reached where you want to park it, like that's a possibility.
Okay.
If there's something where there's a specific thing that still needs to go forward and needs additional support, we can do that too. But maybe when Commissioner Frick is available, like back in town, I don't know if you guys want to coordinate.
We both felt that it was at the point that the next step is to get more public
Sure.
information
Education.
out about it, so that
Right.
you don't suddenly see bird strikes, no one knows.
Right, yeah, totally. So,
I mean,
sure, yeah. So maybe that, if that's the next turning point, a meeting with Benito probably makes sense as a next step. And so maybe if the 3 of you all and Benito want to get together sometime the next month or so, that probably feels like a good next step.
I think that would make sense. We sense it, that we're at a point where it now just becomes a public issue.
Sure.
To try to make it something that people are interested in.
Sure, okay.
And so we're ready for that.
Okay, great. So that sounds like then kind of, and then we can go through, what makes sense for us to promote, what makes sense. We'll talk it through in that context.
Okay, great. That sounds good.
Cool.
I had a subcommittee on, ad hoc subcommittee on blowers. It's also,
So I know the next step there was the proposed op-ed, I believe. Was that the next step with the leaf blowers? Was the op-ed proposal?
to,
Yeah, there was a draft.
That was another issue that we thought education was essential, right, to remind people of what their obligations are.
Sure. Okay. Well, then that sounds like maybe a lot of these, not a lot of, but some of our ad hoc subcommittees are in this is a good time to re-engage with staff in a check-in meeting and just say, okay, when does this move out of subcommittee and this subcommittee winds down? Does the subcommittee refocus or narrow focus, and what should staff carry forward? So maybe when Commissioner Frick is available. Do that.
makes sense.
Great.
Very good. The subcommittee on Measure J projects, which is not really Measure J projects anymore, but, so, Commissioner Alexander, Boyd and myself met, via Zoom a while back over the summer, actually, and talked about, this is kind of morphed into how we build relationships with other commissions. And, so we and how we can help, potentially help them or bring awareness to sustainability issues, that may help them with any challenges or whatever that they have. I created a list of I copied the list from the city website of all the commissions, and what we're going to do is attend their meetings just to hear what they're talking about, what they're doing, and then meet with try and get the chair, just kind of make an introduction to see how we can cohabitate together, because we're all kind of into the same goal of making our city a better place. So how we can all work together is kind of the goal of that. So I know we had talked about when the three of us were chatting about changing our name. It's not really Measure J anymore. It's more like commission building.
The ad hoc subcommittee on commissions. I like it. Our commission relations ambassadors.
So it's kind of where we're at. Build better bonds.
I think we talked about Blue Zone, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I,
Commissioner
I'm on
Alexander
that.
volunteered on that as well. Since they're doing, we're seeing in the post and different areas in the city that they're doing cleanups and different things. So if there's a way to kind of interconnect with them as well, it's all good.
I think Blue Zone really fits in sustainability. There's a lot of coexistence.
Overlapping things. So we'll just see how that works together and report back. So it's kind of an ongoing thing.
We have a question.
Given how the Measure J funds were loaned, they may not have as much money to wrangle over at.
Yeah, and I think the intent of this is not, it's no longer Measure J. It's how do we build relationships with all the various commissions.
Measure J being one of
Measure
those.
J being one. And I think the reason talked about this on this side is when Commissioner Clark and Cohen and I had a last minute thing right at the holiday where they needed input from sustainability at a very short notice. We kind of responded in a very short time frame. Is there a way to kind of have a better heads up? There's a need or understanding what their needs might be, just to kind of prevent that from happening, but also build better relationships with the different commissions. So yeah, that's why we're going to change it from Measure J. But they kicked it off. So any other questions? Okay, moving on to ad hoc subcommittee on pesticides, wildlife.
So that's with us. That's a scheduling question. So Benito's going to be the point person facilitating that one. So we'll send out a scheduling poll because I know a lot of folks who were interested were gone for the summer. Like Commissioner Brick was one of those folks. I know you've been back more recently, but so Benito's going to send out scheduling sometime in the next week or two.
Okay.
To get a meeting locked down for them.
And we'll save that for business. So I think we're moving forward on that. That's good. Should we move to director's report?
Sure. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Did we have time for public comments? I don't know if we did that.
We did at the top, and we didn't have any public comment that way.
So
Yeah.
I blacked out. I thought I messed up public comments.
Oh, no, I don't think Emmanuel had any comments today.
Like, okay, we may have some stuff.
Thank you for keeping us honest. I
Thanks.
appreciate you. Always better to check. But no,
I always skip stuff, so it's good.
New flow, all good. Okay, yeah, so we do have a few things to report out today. You'll notice that our memo was a little shorter this time, partially because we were preparing the packet from the Healthy Desert Healthy You Summit, which is why the memo was a little short. So I'm actually going to run down the road today. We each have something that we want to offer for you. We're going to start with Benito asking about volunteers for upcoming event, because you already talked a little bit about things, so I'm going to let you talk about volunteers and anything else that you would like to talk about.
So we do have our shredding and e-waste and bulky items. I did get a call earlier that says they would like us to specify that it's a 3-theme event. So letting it out there again. It's October 4th, Saturday. If any of you would like to volunteer, please reach out to me. We will be very short staffed. So it'll be team of 1 for now. If you are available to come assist, and also you can start reaching out as well to some of our other community members.
Is that an all day or morning?
I know. Some had missions before that come for a little bit in the morning or in the afternoon, but I'll be there at 6 in the morning and it's until 12 p.m. Well, so
If I can I think the morning seemed to be the busiest.
yes, yeah.
So
Morning
It's
time
like
is
quick.
yeah, it was I was surprised, amazed at how many people that showed up. I was just that's pretty amazing how much people have to get rid of.
They
And
all
it goes by very quickly. So the line does seem very long and
But it
a little
moves,
scary,
really fast.
but I've separated into 3 rows and it goes by in about 20 minutes.
And it's
Anita, would you like to talk through some of the things that volunteers would do?
Yeah. So one of us would be up front, letting people in, making sure nobody comes in the wrong way, and letting them know to go straight down to one of the 3 lanes. Each of the lanes are numbered 1, 2, or 3. You'll let them send them to there. The one person will be by the lane, so you'll let them know lane 1, lane 2, or lane 3. That way they'll let you know what they have. One lane is solely for shredding. One lane is solely for bulky items or e-waste, and the middle lane is for both. So we don't crowd them too much. So you'll direct them to the correct lane. Another person will be at the end, letting people know the correct way to exit. So it's just really letting people know what way to go. So the more the merrier. The more helpful it will be.
And also, if you'd like to set up cones and you like to up really early in the morning, Benito could probably use some help at 6 setting up cones. It's a big job. Or breaking down cones at 12:30. I saw a question here first, and then
Do you color code the aisles or?
They are not
signage?
they are numbered.
Or not?
Yes, number 1, 2, or 3.
So it's not just go there.
No. Well, usually it was easier when we had full staff there. So I just told them go with number 1 and then they'll wave them down. I usually just walk you over to let them person know who they're going to. So who to expect them.
I can help. I'd rather do it in the morning.
and then Vice Chair Alexander.
This may be a stupid suggestion, but the people who are coordinating the lanes, it might be helpful if they had like a placard on it
Big
instead number 1. You know, seriously,
Yeah.
if you drive me,
number. Yeah.
you know, if it's the number 1 is whatever on it, and people would hopefully know enough to go there rather than getting in the wrong one, then backing up and then.
Yeah.
So it's just a thought.
Commissioner Barrett, was that a volunteer or?
A volunteer, but not in the early morning.
Don takes our later morning shift and we are grateful for that. And Commissioner Cohen will take our early morning shift. We are grateful. Well, I guess it depends. Are you setting up cones or are you directing traffic? I would say if you want to help direct traffic, probably 7:30 would be the target time.
Yeah.
Does that feel fair?
Yeah.
That's
Usually the
when we
line will
start to
start
see
getting there, so you can just tell people to hold on and open.
people start lining up at 6.
Mm-hmm.
They could also come at 9:30 and there wouldn't be a line. I continue to mention this every shredding event, but
Yeah, we
Someone,
have
someone
people
told me
park their
that
car.
Palm Springs. I
Should be
getting
there
there
all
early.
day.
Commissioner Warren.
When is it happening this time?
It'll be at the Palm Springs Command Center parking lot again.
Because the same day Blue Zones is having a wellness event at the Ruth Hardy.
Oh, okay, gotcha, good to know.
So I think they're having 500 people coming out there.
Oh, wow.
It's from like 10 to 2 or 10 to 1. So it's a short event.
Got it, okay. So we may have even more people trying to come early to shredding, so they can go to both. Good to know, so we'll be prepared.
So,
Yes.
so there is a morning and an afternoon shift.
Yes.
You can kind of ref
Cause I
informally.
could do afternoon, I could do
Sure,
morning.
that's probably fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's perfectly
coordinate
fine.
with Benjo on the timing. Yeah, we will take the help whenever the help is available.
I've done this multiple times. It's not that difficult. It does get hot.
Yes, that's true. Bring hat and water.
Yep.
And
So I was there at the end and
Sure.
it was hot.
Thank you.
So that is all this week, yes.
Great. Okay, we're gonna move down the line to Christian next.
So tomorrow we're having the Racket Club Road reconfiguration meeting. So they're just going over again the design, but also the fire response study that they did probably about a month ago. It's going to be at the I don't know what the
Just to Del Monte Elementary School, which is right behind Victoria Park. So if you know where Fire Station 4, the one on Racketville.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Racketville Fire Station. I don't, now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't think it's 4, but I don't know which one it is. So, I should know that. But yeah, there's an elementary school there behind the park. Same place we've had Earth Day event. I think. So,
it's 5:30, 6:30. I think that's interesting.
yes, 5:30 to 6:30 tomorrow. And it's always, I think we really encourage commissioners to attend these events to show support for enhanced safety infrastructure. So they're going to be doing some reconfiguration on that road to manage speeds, add bike lanes, improve the sidewalk. And they did do a study to understand how those reconfigurations might impact fire department response times. So they'll be talking a little bit about that. This is a question that's kind of coming up around the country of how do bike lanes or a fewer number of lanes impact that. There will be a center turn lane maintained throughout the entire configuration, even where maybe instead of like 75 lanes like Racket Club currently has, it will have a normal number. But they'll be talking a little bit about the results of that modeling at the meeting. So anybody who is interested in our bike infrastructure or our kind of pedestrian and active transportation safety, we definitely always encourage you to come and see what we're up to.
And that was
Tomorrow, 5:30 at Vista Del Monte Elementary School. Yeah.
gonna be tomorrow.
This
It's my
goes-
birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you, brother. Okay, sorry, Christian. Go ahead.
And then the other thing.
Okay.
So this week and next week we'll be working to transition projects with these two as I am leaving the city. Like to a different position somewhere else. So that's kind of what we've been working on this week and what will be happening for the next week. So I'll still be in office until the 25th, but kind of around until the October.
Sad to see you go, but congratulations.
Good luck to your next journey.
I'll be moving to LA. I think the desert.
No, congratulations.
Is it, because it's too hot? We can fix it.
Get those shades first, so
We
Commissioner
can get
Durden's
some
been asking
shade.
for, yeah.
Some tree. if you want.
That might be a good segue.
Yeah, so since this is Christian's final commission meeting, I wanted to make sure to give an opportunity to thank him for all of his hard work, acknowledge all of the things he's been up to, cooking up all kinds of nature and transportation things that I still mostly understand, I think.
A lot of work.
Yeah, lots of work to transition, winning us millions of dollars again, $1 million Christian over here. So just wanted to share our appreciation as a team, but also give him an opportunity to inform the commission. So I know you all have been great supporters of the work that we've all done here. So let's keep it posted.
Congratulations.
Yes.
After all that work on trees.
It's so close. Great. Okay, and then I will just close this out by talking a little bit about our upcoming quarter work plan. So I actually worked on a really nice slide that you're not going to see because it looked bad. So I'm not showing it. So we have a couple of things just to kind of refresh because it's been a minute, I think, since we stepped back and looked at everything we're up to. Just as a reminder of a couple of the key things. The team is hearing this for the first time. The slogan that I'm using in my head is "That's hot," because we're doing a lot of things related to heat and circling around that. So a couple of different things that focuses on. So we're continuing our work on buildings and building efficiency. So a couple of the key pieces there are the homes upgrade work that we've talked about, both the ordinance, not dead. The state tried to kill it, they couldn't kill it. We'll bring that back in a couple months to talk a little bit more in detail about that. But also the direct home repair program that we talked a little bit about that we got money for through the budget cycle. And really the reason I tied that into a heat program is because any improvement that we make in someone's home to improve the energy efficiency of that home improves the climate resilience of that home. So you add a better window, you add better insulation, better roofing, like a cool roof or a radiant barrier. Not only does that mean that that home requires less energy to cool, which then reduces electric bills, but it also means that it's not as vulnerable to big swings in temperature, helps keep things more consistent, comfortable, and safe. So especially when we think about the health implications, particularly in our community, for making sure that we're keeping people healthy at home, homes and buildings and building quality are a really important part of that. So we're looking at the regulatory side still. It's not brand new. We're looking at doing that work directly because if the regulation's getting too slow, I still want to see the work happening. So we're going to do it ourselves. And then we're also working kind of in the background on building out an approach for commercial buildings because we do have a lot of those here. Small businesses do carry really high electricity costs as well. Sometimes they provide refuge for places and people to go in the hot times and things like that. So we want to make sure that they also have access to pathways for upgrades. So that's research stage, but so the hot realm buildings, keeping people comfortable and healthy at home is a big priority. Transportation and kind of outdoors, Christian's portfolio, which Benito and I will be doing our best to carry forward. So that's focusing on our heat and shade study. So that RFP for the research and community engagement will be going out in the next probably, you'd say month, roughly, Christian is the goal, month or so. So we'll be bringing in some additional resources with that state funding to help us analyze where it's hottest in our city, where it feels hottest in our city, where shade is equitably and inequitably distributed currently, and starting to understand how we can understand different types of shade and use those as tools to make transportation safer, healthier, and more comfortable. So especially when we think about active transportation, thinking really creatively about those things. That continues to be a big priority. In addition to some work that we're kind of foundational work we're doing around connectors to the CV Link, working with CVAG and updating our bike maps and a lot of the kind of bread and butter work that we regularly do on transportation. And waste, we continue to focus, fix it, I think is a really big work stream that Benito's been building, which is great. Getting people to think beyond a linear disposal model. So composting is a circular model because it's taking that food waste and putting it back into the earth to generate more things. Fixing is a circular model. So really trying to bend as far as we can toward those more circular models, while also still making sure that our mobile home parks and multifamily complexes and businesses and homes are still recycling and doing the things we need to do. And then preparing for broader state regulation changes that I'll bring back at another point that are going to make that a little bit clearer, but also maybe change how people experience what they think is recyclable. So we'll come back to you on that, but focusing really on kind of bending that arc towards circularity. And then there's kind of an undercurrent of the public engagement work that we are pretty consistently doing. So what Benito is doing to continue to build public awareness around all of our different subject matter areas, getting people engaged and feeling empowered. So empowerment is a really big focus point for us in how we're thinking about all of these spaces of work. So those are the things that are kind of cooking behind the scenes. I know we hear about some of those things a lot. Oh, I didn't mention nature and trees. Tree ordinance is probably the biggest thing that we're going to talk about. So looking at that both as a way to improve and expand our urban canopy, but also think about improving and supporting our biodiversity here in the city as well, which is an important part of our environmental health. So healthy in the environment and health of the environment are equally important. Did I miss anything there? Okay, great. Thank you. I was just that's where a slide is helpful, so I know which boxes I already said. So those are the big focus areas for the next couple months. As you can tell, it's going to be skeleton crew a little bit, so we'll be kind of focusing in on the most, probably the most critical of those things and, moving, but we also have a lot of pieces in motion that we spent a lot of the last year putting together. So hopefully certain things will continue to roll a little bit on their own. Does anyone have any questions? I see here first, here. We're going to go, I'm going to go this way because that's the way I looked down the line. So Commissioner Barry.
Just how are you going to do this when they change the personnel?
We are working on it. I'll get back to you. on that one. I think what we're really
So
focused.
is the city gonna be supportive in finding a good replacement?
So I believe we are going to be able to fill at least one of our climate specialist lines is my hope. So that's something that we're, we don't do that until, until the cookie is crumbled, as they say. So so we'll be working on that over the next little while. But also, I mean, the team has worked really hard on building relationships with other departments as well. So embedding some of that work, kind of birthing the tree ordinance into existence, getting the consulting resources with the grant money to do some of those things. So we are luckily entering a phase where we're able to bring in some additional resources to help us do some of these things. We may not be able to be as like big A ambitious in the next like month or two, but we'll be focusing on core business a little bit, but I think still able to keep a lot of those things chugging. Does that help? Is that like a long-winded government answer for I don't know?
Yes.
How about you hope?
Yeah, I
How
hope.
you hope?
It'd be easy. Thank you for the question. Check.
I just following back on the your direct home repair.
Mhm.
Is it maybe too early to discuss? I was at the DCE board meeting on how there's potential for increased funding and participation. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or
Sure, I
just
can.
kind of highlight there are lots of other little balls in the air.
Right. So yeah, so I can speak at a high level to that. We're still working with the team to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. So y'all may remember that the Desert Community Energy Board allocated $500,000 as part of their most recent budget process to support our, align with our work on reach codes and building energy efficiency broadly. So we're working with their team currently to understand how much of that becomes like a residential rebate program. Does any of that go directly into our program, either in the form of a rebate or looking at certain kinds of appliances or energy storage or functions like that. And then how much of it is just kind of generally available. So Juliet did some really great research before her fellowship wrapped up. It's helping support some of how we're targeting those things. Desert Community Energy is also assembling resources from other avenues that will allow them to expand the reach of that work beyond even what we've had scope to do so far. So that's when they're starting to look into different types of buildings. I wasn't at the meeting yesterday, unfortunately, so I don't want to make news if they didn't make news at the meeting.
It was more that they're still in the process of figuring out what they're doing, but I think they're working on doing a pilot program first to see how residential and commercial, the kind of two tracks of how it works, how people respond, and benefits that are obtained through that. So I know it's not. I don't know.
Not
They
fully
didn't-
baked yet.
Yeah, not fully baked.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. But
We're
it's-
targeting sometime in the beginning of 2026 to launch our work in earnest. So we're doing the preparing pieces now, which will probably also include bringing some additional program support on to do that. So I imagine those will go around the same time. Yeah, that's my sense. We have
yeah, I think that's-
Just on that, energy work and everything, I saw that Inland Empire Grid Alternatives, the nonprofit organization, they received a grant through Inland Empire Labor Institute.
great.
So maybe just talking to them and see how they can come in and do the work so we can stretch that dollar a little longer.
Right. Yeah, we are actively looking at how to stack our funding with other people's money right now. So the nice thing about having received this particular allocation from via the council process, so it's coming from money savings from franchise fees that the department has kind of been holding in a little box to spend. And it's very flexible money. So a lot of grants are not going to be this flexible. So what's nice is we can work with other programs and other organizations that may have a grant that's kind of specific. Like for example, the county offers home repair programs, but they can't go past code on any programs, or maybe they're not able to do all of the projects that you would want to do in a house. Or maybe a program like this from Grid Alternatives might be focusing on systems. So maybe like solar, battery, HVAC, but they're not necessarily able to do floor insulation. So that's where our money, I kind of want to spend my money last and most flexibly. So where we can add in to magnify the work that other departments or other agencies are already doing to help repair homes, because it's not the first repair program that there's ever been. So yeah, definitely. So anytime you hear about those things, always feel free to let us know, because we may know about it, but given how many of us there are, we might want. So please let us know. Thank you. Any other kind of general question? Anything else the team would like to share? during our meeting? Okay, great. That concludes our report.
Great. So moving on to old business. First topic is the tree ordinance.
So not much has changed since the last time you guys saw it. There's only been like a few kind of minor changes. We've added just some defining terms, making sure that they line up with what the city has already defined, such as like public right of way, and then also like mitigation values, defining that what that means to find the value of the tree essentially. And then there's a few kind of lines we added to just kind of add cohesiveness with engineering's code on like corner cutbacks and setbacks, just making sure that language are aligned with theirs when people are planting trees in those areas. One of the I guess maybe more major edits that we will add that we kind of discussed today is changing the recommended species list name to approved species list, since they will be seeking approval. It's just, I think, recommended just makes it seem more like it's a, something you should just, and then that's about it. So we're still keeping our main points about replacing trees, limiting removal only under certain conditions, and then also protecting trees during construction, choosing from the list, having just that group of protected trees. So are there questions on the ordinance as you read through it?
I think it's a great starting point.
I skimmed through it, and my concern earlier had been about what would be called nuisance trees, and as I looked through it, I saw that is actually covered well
Yes.
through there. So, I mean, because we do have trees should be removed.
Yes, yeah. So we do also, highlight that there are some trees that do need to be removed.
Right, and that came out well in this version.
I thought so. Always good to hear that our points come across clearly. That's always good feedback, so thank you.
And then, so as for the supporting documents, so the approved species list is pretty much done, but we are still drafting the technical manual to content as it stands is what we want. They're still going to do formatting and add pictures, and we did send them some kind of minor edits on maybe some things that should be added about species diversity and having, the difference between topping, pruning to, reduce density or things like that. And then also just pointing out maybe a few problem species in the list, like just determining what they're generally suitable for this area. And then the website, that is close to being finished. We're just trying to verify and kind of consolidate some data from previous years and making sure it's accurate and lines up with our current data and how the city kind of currently counts trees. So that's where we're at with that. And as the ordinance stands, I think it's ready for the next step. That's the first step.
Come on. Yeah, that's not those. Okay, so basically at this point, I know it's been a minute since we've recommended an ordinance, so just going to remind everyone of my understanding of the process, mostly so I can remember it when I say it out loud. So at this point, the role of the commission, as you know, you're appointed to advise the city council. So it's your job to decide whether to recommend or not recommend that the council support this ordinance. So this is something that we would probably take to the council if the commission approves it at the October meeting, which there's only going to be one, so it would be the end of the month. If they get to decide at the end of the day if they want to put it on that calendar or not. But that's our target. And so that ordinance would go forward with the commission's either recommendation or recommendation with caveats. If there's a part you really hate, you can say, I like it, but I hate this. So we would look for the commission to vote this evening on whether to recommend it or not to recommend it. And then if you choose to do so, you can discuss having someone perhaps go to provide public comment at the council meeting in order to represent the commission. Generally speaking, that's the chair or vice chair, but y'all can decide and make sure it's a shared viewpoint. So Sorry.
I just, never, what,
Please.
no, it's, but being prepared to recommend this to council, it requires a level of in-depth knowledge.
Sure. Well, so since this is the second time that the commission has looked at this ordinance, so we did review it at the last meeting as well. And we spent a little bit more time, I think, going through some of those provisions. So we thought this might be a good time to ask if the commission was prepared to make a recommendation. Of course, you can decide that you're not prepared to make a recommendation. That's also fine. So I guess I would open the floor for any motion. If anyone has a motion so what I guess the process would be someone can make a motion to recommend, then we can discuss, and then there would be a vote on the motion. Does that sound right? That's what I wrote down from the last time we did this, so. Okay, so do we have a motion on the floor to do anything?
Recommend and discuss.
Yes. Okay, so Commissioner Alexander, Vice Chair Alexander, sorry, I'll get used to that.
Oh, no,
Um,
you can.
That's fresh. Sorry, did you have a question before we do that?
Well, yeah, but I think we can discuss it. It's a general question of
I'll
whether or
second.
not anyone has. Thank you.
Great.
Um,
Cool. So motion has been made to recommend and discuss, second by Commissioner Cohen. Question?
Has staff shared this with, council at all?
Not yet. So we need y'all to kind of give us the thumbs up before we can do that.
Okay. All right, I didn't know what the
Yeah.
protocol, so.
Yeah, so I mean, in some cases, we would probably give some kind of preview, but for something like this, that's not highly controversial and is aligned with our work plans in general and our goals as a city, we would wait for your recommendation before we do that generally.
I think, sorry, go ahead.
Understand.
Just, highlight whoever, just thinking who will be speaking to city council and working with staff to highlight, and you can't, like, I've read it a couple times, and there are key things, I think, that are key points that you can talk about, which highlight what this is trying to achieve. And to me, it just feels like a starting point of progressing, growing a tree population. So but something on the sidelines is hitting those highlights of what it is and then addressing. Because initially, anyway, that's that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So making sure that, and we can revisit, I think, some of Christian's earlier presentations or fact sheets as well. And I know we've been working on this for so long that we can reassemble some of the resources and then refine them based on the current status of the ordinance, make sure that that's available for whoever is going to be giving the presentation, just kind of on the highlights and helping direct people and help them see. I'm going to make the pun, see the forest for the trees. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Okay. We had a question or comment here.
It seemed to me as I read how many of the departments in a city have a hand in this, that it's going to be very familiar to the staff. Correct. Which would then mean the communication to the higher levels of staff, and ultimately to the council. It seems like that could be a very smooth kind of thing. And it also goes back to the shade and the climate and all of those things that we have been really highly concerned about. And I think everybody talks about heat. And no matter you talk about it if you go to the movies, you talk about it when you take a walk. And so it's something that's on everyone's mind, that touches everyone's life. And I think this is being a launching pad for having the conversation. It may take a while, but I think it's time to do it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Christian put a lot of effort into building the department relationships here and making sure people had plenty of opportunities and accepted feedback and
Spending comments as well.
yeah. Yeah, I'll always in those. But yeah, I think we're really kind of with that goal in mind of like no surprises. We want to do something ambitious and achievable. So we know that this is doable. And so when we bring this as a launching pad, we feel fairly confident as staff that this is a really, it's been, no one will be too upset.
And it will, I don't think that there'll be that surprise. Yeah. That's what our expectations.
Other comments, questions?
I guess my main question would be, do we have someone who's going to be willing and feel comfortable with presenting this to council?
Sure, on the commissioner side,
Commissioners?
I guess I'll leave that up to the
So
commission.
that sounds like,
I would be.
Yeah, I think
I thought
generally,
she just presented. a very
yeah,
good
I was,
idea.
that was great too. Yeah, you guys-
But I
yeah,
was,
write
I
it
wasn't.
down.
If Commissioner Cohen would like to,
Yeah. On behalf, yeah, that's kind of up to you all to decide, so. You also more, it doesn't have to only be one, it can be multiple people, like, you know, multiple people can give public comment on this, so. And you would generally probably be giving comment right around the time the item would be brought up, and then we'll do the heavy lifting. I will do the heavy lifting, in terms of subject matter. So it sounds like we have at least one, potentially two commissioners willing to speak on the issue.
Call the question.
that would be the next city council meeting.
It would be at an upcoming one, probably in October, but maybe November. Kind of depends on the stack of things they have to deal with. If
their agenda as well.
we're working kind of backwards from the late October meeting, just to have it ready.
Okay.
Other questions, comments?
Should we vote?
Then I think we can
Call for the question. Okay. Call for the question.
Okay. Yes. All in favor of the motion presented by Commissioner or Vice Chair Alexander to recommend the ordinance to the City Council? Yes. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Great, congratulations, Kristen. On your final meeting. Farewell gift. Excellent. Okay, great. So what we'll do,
Maybe he should present.
that's up to Kristen. He said he would have the video on, so he can send me text if I get something really wrong. Okay, so the next steps here will be that we, you know, we've got sign up from all of our internal departments, so we kind of push this up for agendizing. We'll probably also prepare like a little, you know, snapshot that goes out to council members so they're not like, what? So we'll do that, although they've been informed in various ways about this development for a while. It's just not like officially, it's like, hey, we're doing this. So, and then we'll work with whoever would like to get public comment, just to make sure you have the agenda packet when it's published and everything like that. And we'll keep the commission apprised of when that's going to be going to the council. So right now, target is end of October, but doing this at this meeting then allows us to do the prep to get it in the pipe. So we can bring you an update at the next meeting. Great, thanks everyone. That was easy. Thanks for reading it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Good work, everyone. With that, we have new business. We don't have any on the list.
Yeah, we don't have any new discussion items, but if folks have things they want to add for that at the end of the meeting, we can do that then.
So we move on to commissioner comments and October agenda items. Commissioners have minutes to provide requests for future agenda items or input. Should we go around the table?
I'll just note to start that we will probably have a presentation from the local active transportation advocates group. It's going to talk a little bit about some of the work they've done today. So that's the guest presentation. It's called the Active Transportation Committee. Yeah, local, cycling advocates.
Commissioner Alexander.
Don't have any comment. This meeting will be exactly 2 years since I've joined sustainability meetings. Really, looking forward to the remaining of my term. I want to emphasize, obviously, now we're recommending to City Council with the tree ordinance, and hopefully they will put that on their agenda and also move it. Wanted to emphasize, again, shade structures, climate. We, just going away in Europe and everywhere else, and seeing all the cities that have massive, umbrellas and massive shades, and just us not having any, just makes me feel like we should really. I don't know what else we could do. It's really different departments have to step up, but I mean, I hope we can maybe push something as part of climate control to be able to make it more pleasant and in summer months, or not just for us residents, also tourists that do come here. So it's something, I don't know how.
Right, agree. Hence the heat theme for our strategy. There's just a couple of things I want to just really quickly mention. And thank you for bringing that up. This is the kind of thing I'd normally put in the memo, but written more stuff. One is the commission may be interested to note that the convention center upgrade process recently released 3 RFPs. One of those is focused on public realm improvements, and I think they're really going to be looking at shade, comfortable climates and stuff there. So that's definitely something I recommend folks take a look at. Share with anyone in your community who might have things to offer there. So that's one. The second is as part of the heat and shade study, once we get that RFP ready to go, we are going to be assembling like a working advisory group. So we'll bring that back once that RFP is ready. This commission effectively is that, but if there are people who are particularly interested, it's one of the conditions of the grant, but also we think it's good practice. If there's folks I'm imagining you'd be particularly interested, but start thinking if you want to be on the shade team.
But so the one reason, so everybody knows I play pickup all the time, and I'm really focused on this new upgrade of the new pickleball courts. It was the RFP came out as the price cost came out higher than what the city thought it was going to cost us. They said, "Oh, we were willing to do 6.5 million or something, or 6 million." Came out to more than that. In order to make it within budget, they removed shade structure so that it can be more affordable. And then that's why they approved it. So now it's approved and it's gonna be groundbreaking later this month. But like the one thing they removed is shade structure. So it can be, like instead of removing, like West we need courts, but like instead of 24, we can have 20, maybe 22, and just have the shade structure because that's important, right? So I just feel like that's not really a high priority for that, just kind of upsetting, not upsetting, like disappointing.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Did you without taking some?
Oh, yeah, you want that?
So who puts that on Blue Zones?
City of Riverside.
So we went to the Heat Summit in the city of Riverside on Friday, and they will be coming to Palm Springs next year. We'll be hosting it. So
Nice.
that might be an avenue, and they're taking a public health approach rather than like a climate sustainability. So it's kind of interesting. They have, like doctors there, and the Phoenix team had their fire chief and different people that aren't necessarily in the sustainability field, kind of advocating for shade, like treating extreme heat as a public health issue rather than environmental.
Yeah, like there's a report, Phoenix, they have this plan, I think I emailed it.
Yeah.
They had this plan in the next 5 years that would be the shade city because they now have this plan. It was pretty cool, like, just focusing on different neighborhoods and having this.
I think that's the play Blue Zone, which part of that is get people to live healthy. You certainly cannot be healthy in 110 heat, no shade. And it plays into
But I think, and this may be not another half, but it's looking at right, Palm Springs is a very small city, and we need to recognize that we have very limited funds and not endorsing any action pro or con, but understanding that we do a lot with very limited amount of funds, and there's always another way of getting something done. And I think of looking at public-private partnerships or suggesting those things. I know we're, just making recommendations. We're not but we're up to us. We all have shade, right?
Yeah.
So,
We have.
but working with, I worked in San Francisco, volunteered on the reconfiguration of the tennis facility in Golden Gate Park, and they felt a public-private partnership. There are different ways of getting things that we need, and not that that's the best. That's just the thing that just popped in my head, Max, when you were talking about this. It's like, hey, we need shade. It's taken out. How do we get that back in? Fundraisers? Do we recommend that to other organizations? What other group, Parks and Rec? What else is out there? There's so many. What I'm learning, go to these different conferences, and DCEs trying to contribute back to our community with energy efficiency. What other avenues and staff, our former staff members seem to be has done a lot of digging around, finding, and it's going to be harder just because of the political climate that we're in, but we can find it. So I think it's maybe having discussion. I don't know how that
We could.
generates, but
Well, I feel like probably the easiest way to do it. Well, it sounds like maybe a task or commission relations committee, ad hoc subcommittee. Like how do you work shape and stuff? Just thought, but it maybe when we bring back the item about the heat and shade study RFP, because that's when we'll be building our kind of advisor group. That at least it's less of a strategic. Well, it is a strategic opportunity, but it's specifically focused on like, okay, so we want to come up with heat and shade related outcomes for our transportation system. So it's pretty targeted. So it gives us
Again,
like an
the
avenue.
three arguments.
Exactly, three
So,
arguments.
Climate.
Yeah.
Then provide shape and all that. So
we're
that's
also looking at
Yeah.
what successes the city has.
Right.
There are a lot of parks
Yeah.
for
parks and
kids. The Temuth Park has a big shade structure over the lake. So they're making inroads into this, and it's tough to go. We need it now, and tomorrow turn on that key and make it happen. So it's how do we help push the needle forward, I guess.
I think that the clearest near-term opportunity is with the funded study, the Caltrans study. That's the next opportunity that we have to then kind of design that into playbooks and start to think about it system-wide. Because my opinion, that's the best way to get it happening repeatedly is if you look at it and you kind of are like, okay, where does this help and how do we make that easy for us to implement, standard style, whatever. But maybe let's us take this back. I'll pick Christian's brain over the next couple weeks on kind of where he's been looking. We can bring that back in October or November for either a conversation about that study, building out that working group, or if it makes sense, talking with the commissioners to do something more general, we can try to do that too.
As I think about it, there are the parks, there are tourists, we have a lot of underserved neighborhoods. How do you prioritize? Yeah, how do we prioritize all those things? It's like, and just thinking about that, I know people are thinking about it, but how we as a commission can maybe, keep the voice activation.
We'll think about that as a group a little bit. We'll kind of think on that idea and see what we can bring to help shape that discussion and support it.
I did want to mention that at the 1 PS meeting, shade was at the forefront. Ernstine, Councilman Ernstine mentioned it. Mayor mentioned it. It was mostly around making the convention center blend in and be able to connect and be shaded so people could walk. But I mean, they're thinking shade, and you're not going to get people to come to this here in the summer unless they've never been here before. And so
I'm living at
Yeah.
the newest end of it.
Yeah.
This whole long trail is just open.
Yeah.
And we get wind out there.
Yeah.
So there should be something, some kind of shade and wind shelter.
Yeah.
And great souls I see on there, but they try to do it early in the day, and they put all that money into that link.
Yeah.
And then they have to.
I know, I watched that link and I'm like, it's so windy and there's
they needed a
in the
place
sun.
to stop.
Mm-hmm.
A rest station.
I thought they would be putting, some kind of shade structure up there, but it's just
Well, it's miles.
all open.
Well, I think with some of those things, it's like with the tree ordinance, it's a starting point, and it's pretty amazing. That CD link, and at the Healthy Desert, Healthy You, at the kickoff session, there was, I think it was the CD link, or CVAG rep, I'm not remember his name, talking about the opportunities that something like the CD link provides. It's also not, so that there is thinking, but it's also keeping, again, that we need wind protection, we need
And
shade.
they're creating that Tramview Heights, which is a new section with 109 acres of COD was gonna go. So, and I'm hoping there'll be a lot of affordable housing and some grocery and pharmacy all along that corridor.
Yeah.
It's just a natural thing that you hope people are gonna use it, but if it's no shade, not gonna happen.
On CV Link.
Yeah.
There actually is a good number of shade structures on the portion that follows the top of the creek.
I think by Cena,
And
because I've walked there, but on our end,
Well, they may not
Well,
be.
I know, I mean,
Some
may
way,
not be
way
that.
down, way down.
Yeah,
That
south.
runs basically along Mesquite
By the golf course, by
and through the golf course. There's actually this, I mean, there's a shade structure at Indian Canyon, there's a shade structure at Sunrise, there's a shade structure there's a shade structure at El Cielo. I think there may be one in between. I mean, but somehow or other on that portion out there,
that's what
it's
I'm
very,
saying.
very
I
open.
think they may not be done yet.
Yeah.
It may not be
That's-
done.
It's
Right.
that,
They're
that may,
done.
I mean, I'm not, since CVAG is into that project, I would say let's maybe hold that might be possible, because those shade
But
structures
also
are not.
I would
Yeah,
think that,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
if they were gonna add more, I mean,
The one over my neighbor just
just came up.
was installed and the water's not working. Yeah, so they're slowly, it takes time. And I think the patience thing, but it might be interesting if we can get someone, a video or someone to come in from CVAG to give us an update on
And they have a fun,
progressing. 'Cause
heat project too that we were learning about last week.
Yeah. So I think there's there's so many things going on that we just don't know about that. And what we could ask the question about the wind and the shade, and there might be something going in there, we just don't know about it, but it also might be like a next tranche of, if there's any kind of funding. Check that some trees, yeah.
Anybody have any, did you have any more comments or agendas?
I was just going to say that it seems that we're actually doing more now to make sustainability be more regular part of the conversation.
Yeah.
and The greater conversation, not just our own conversation, which is an important part of where we are.
Agreed. Sustainability in everything.
Right.
Chair?
I just had one comment, the active transportation, is that part of potential, I don't know, committee,
Yes.
discussion? So that could potentially fall into CV Link
Yep,
as
absolutely.
well as, other things that are transportation related. And what I was gonna tie back into was the gentleman that's from CVAG mentioned utilizing. It's a great transportation connector with the Sunline Transit and getting people moving either through like a shuttle that's a small golf cart type thing that gets people who are, I mean, it was amazing to learn how big our transit area is. The woman representing Sunline, it was the size of Delaware or something, that they have thousands of miles. And the underserved that are out in the East Valley are, of course, the least served. So getting people to figure out this build out of how to really utilize the CV Link as a transportation, not just for health, but also, and Commissioner Alexander mentioned that, being able to go to the store or get to your job or get to the bus to the next, or a rental bike or scooter, whatever it is, it's a multifunctional kind of thing, and learning how that can help everyone improve. So it's, there's a lot of wheels there. Anyway,
Seems to me would be safer riding bicycles through there instead of
oh yeah,
riding them on
Sure.
the main streets where people are dying. They're really
definitely.
it's terrible.
I use a lot just to get to through town. So it's a great thing. I love it.
Commissioner, you wrap up?
I think down the line when all the ad hoc committees are like settling in, I would like to form an ad hoc subcommittee on carbon fund copying San Francisco. They start with this way. If the city employees are traveling to offset their carbon emission, they are paying 13% buying carbon credits from somewhere. But they made an executive order when the council approved it, and if the city employee is doing air travel, instead of buying carbon credits, they put that money in this fund. And they made it so events happening at the conferences, or if they're doing a movie shooting, Now the production companies also have to offset their carbon footprint. So instead of like buying those outside carbon credits, if they're shooting a film in Palm Springs, they can decide to put that equivalent dollar amount in carbon fund so the community can use that fund. So I want to see that going in Palm Springs because yes, we have a lot of work to do. We are short-staffed. We don't have all the money in the world, but there are opportunities, public-private relationships, or a lot of companies, organizations coming into Palm Springs to do business, and they're spending money anyway. So something on the carbon fund to start so we can take it to the commission in the next 10 years, maybe. So council in the next 10 years so they can approve it and we can address many things. That's it.
So I would say that does sound like a topic that might, on the early stage, be aligned with the climate action subcommittee, unless that takes a more transportation focus. So kind of the starting point, the commissioners, you can decide, we need at least one other person who wants to do it too in order to have one, for an ad hoc. But yeah, I'll let you all kind of discuss that amongst yourselves. Maybe it doesn't have to be right now.
Yes,
We can agendize that.
Yeah,
for a future meeting.
that's a good point. So we can figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I lost my place. With that, we're up for adjournment. The next meeting will be on October 21st, 5:30 p.m. As otherwise noted. Do I hear any recommendations or motions to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Kendall. I hope you were able to hear okay. We're gonna go back and do the recording.
I was asked a couple of times at the, to ask you to upload videos.
So we don't have a lot of extra stuff.